Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the I Talk Back Sports Show. I have on the other line, hello caller, I have Jamal Bonner. Say hello to the people.
Hi, Kay, and hello to the people.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about little football and a little college football, and sometime or another we're going to talk about the NBA. When does that start, Jamal?
I
Soon?
believe not soon enough. The NBA, I believe, starts in the middle of October, thankfully.
All right. So, but we can still start talking about it, I guess, soon. I guess. Would you like to give a shout out to the people?
Yes, could you please sound more excited about this upcoming NBA season already? All
I
right.
am very excited for the NBA for numerous reasons, Jamal. So, yay, go NBA.
Yay. Okay. So I just want to give a shout out to, and we will discuss this a little bit later, to the Longhorns offense for ruining my dreams of firing the offensive coordinator, Todd Beck. Thank you very much.
So the offense stood up one more week.
Yes, sadly.
So I don't want to give a shout out to anyone in particular, but the people joining us so far, Dwayne and Willie, thank you so much for supporting the show.
Hi, Dwayne and Willie. So, Kay, just a really quick right off the bat, there's been a bit of an uproar about the new helmet rule. In your opinion, is it helping the players or hurting the game?
It's definitely hurting the game. Of course, I don't want my favorite quarterback, well, when I had one, I wouldn't want him to be hurt by a cheap shot, but at the same time, what do you have to do? Lay him down and place a pillow under him? I mean, it's boring. Sorry.
Yeah, I think that the idea behind it was okay, but I think the thought process that went into just arbitrarily making the rule instead of really talking it through with the players and coming up with a way of actually properly implementing it, it's killed it. So there are a couple of roughing the quarterback calls that were clearly not. Clay Matthews, for some reason, seems to be being targeted 2 in 2 games, with even within the same game that his quarterback was slammed to the ground and no call made. So there needs to be one, consistency, and two, honestly, you really need to talk to the players about this, I think.
I definitely do. When there's any type of rule change, I think they need to just run things by people to make sure, first of all, it makes sense. And then the impact that it will have on the game. I mean, because is it going to be tag football, touch? What are we going to? Where are we trying to go here?
I'm honestly not a problem with putting red jerseys on the quarterbacks. I know that it's probably bad for the game, but I mean, they're a multi-million-dollar investment, and there's nothing worse than a game in which the starting quarterback is out and you're stuck watching the backup, knowing full well that the team's probably going to lose with the backup. So I really like the idea of protecting your quarterback, protecting the players, but I honestly feel that someone really needs to sit down and figure out a way to make this truly work, especially if it's the referees making these calls. Get with the referees. Let's get a consistent call on these sort of situations.
Okay, so Brian Toby wants to know about the clip that was taken back in last night's game. What do you think about that?
That was some home cooking right there. I saw the actual play, and yeah, there was a push in the back. There was no doubt about it. It wasn't one of those where the player, where they'll say that the player turned around and then no. It was a clear as could be block in the back, and the Rams got away with one.
Yeah, but it was so obvious. Those are the ones I really hate. It's like, who's paying you off?
Right.
Oh, we're not supposed to say that.
As in, let's say that what happened to your glasses that you forgot at halftime? Did you just need to go ahead and put them back on?
Right on.
So I'd like to play a little true-false with you, if I may.
Okay.
Okay. So, first of all, University of Michigan wins the Big Ten in football this year.
I do not believe that they will. They have one of the toughest schedules that I've seen. They play Northwestern. Who knows how this is going to go? Who knows what team Northwestern is going to put out there? Maryland. We see what Maryland does. They're very physical, and they like to run the ball. Can Michigan stop that? Let's see. They have Wisconsin. They have Michigan State, Penn State. And then they finish up the season against Ohio State. Michigan will not win the Big Ten this year.
I mean, when you put it like that, I think you may be right. I was kind of hoping for a Penn State win over Ohio State this coming weekend, and that would help set Michigan up. But I didn't realize when I came up with the question that Michigan was going to have to basically run the gamut through the Big Ten this year. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and agree with you this one time and say false. They're not going to probably win.
Wow, okay.
Sorry. So, next up, the Cowboys work out their woes on offense without firing Scott Linehan. True or false?
Very false. They are constantly throwing things up against the wall week by week instead of making in-game adjustments. If you're going to keep doing that, the season will pass you by, and then you will be 5-11. You'll be something, but you definitely won't be in the playoffs. I'm about sick of these people down there. Ever since they moved to Frisco, they went to a higher level of stupidity. I think they need to come back to Dallas County where things are kind of normal, and then they can go back to making just stupid decisions. That's what I think about the things going on for the Cowboys. So, Jamal, do you think things can be figured out with Linehan on the offense?
I would love to say the opposite of what you just said, but no, everything you just said is true, and I am more than extremely frustrated by Linehan and his play calling, as well as you've got this quarterback. Let him loose. Let's see whether or not he throws picks or not. I'd rather you throw picks with the ball going down the field than these little rinky-dink ones. Earl Thomas, hats off to you. Really two great picks, but still, put the ball down the field. So, and then I need you to come back to Texas, Earl. Come back.
Come on back. Come back home. Okay, that's a good one, Jamal.
Yeah. So, true or false? Tiger Woods winning deserves all the attention that it was receiving.
I absolutely think it does, because without Tiger Woods in golf, a lot of people, they watch it. I mean, there are a lot of good up-and-comers, but for the most part, we are excited to wear our red on Sundays. We want a victory by Tiger Woods, and I don't care when anybody says golf is better with Tiger winning.
Golf is better with Tiger winning. However, I'm going to say false, and I believe that this was just a rinky-dink tournament, and until Tiger wins a major or one of these second-tier sort of tournaments, that it's really just a blip, and I need to see a consistent 72 holes out of my man before I put up the big thumbs up to him and his comeback. I feel that he's playing at a very high level, but this tournament, I'm just, So keep at it, though, Tiger. I'm rooting for you.
What I'll say for his confidence, and we'll implement the win is a win rule on this. Win is a win.
Oh, no.
In this case, we'll take it.
Okay.
A win.
A win is a win. All right. Lastly, true, false. The Mavericks make the playoffs this year.
Oh, I think this is going to be false, Jamal. The West, nothing's changed in the West except it's gotten a little stronger. I think that the Mavericks will be competitive. I mean, they competitively tanked last year, and now this year, excellent international player on the team. So they're going to be really good. They're going to give some really good teams hell on some nights, and I'm looking forward to the season, but I don't see them making the playoffs, Jamal.
I think the Mavericks sneak in. I actually like the addition of the rookie point guard to go along with Smith and an aging but reliable Dirk. I think the Mavericks sneak into the 8th spot and subsequently get toasted by the Golden State Warriors. But I honestly feel that they have the talent and the ability to now really and truly move the ball around consistently to see some things happening. So, hey, when you get a great point guard on your team, it makes all the difference in the world. Not to say anything about the previous point guards for the Mavericks, but I think this is going to be I feel this is going to be a change. So
Right.
I'm trying to be supportive of my rival team.
All right.
So let's move along to some college football from last week. Only a couple of things we really want to talk about. We're going to be quick on it. So the big thing is the University of South Florida is still undefeated.
Woohoo! Go Charlie Strong.
That's right. Go Charlie Strong. Yes. Any comment?
Go Charlie Strong. Woohoo!
Okay.
We're standing behind you. You got some people out here. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And and some other team pulled off an upset at home against TCU. I forget the name. Oh, yeah, Texas.
Yes, I think that the game against Ohio State, the second, about the third quarter into the third, it kind of took TCU's confidence. They didn't look very confident on Saturday against the Longhorns. They didn't look very confident, and they didn't play confidently either. So I'm very happy about that outcome.
I'm kind of happy about the outcome. Like I said, I was upset that it disappointed me in terms of being able to get rid of the offensive coordinator in a quicker fashion. But yeah, I'm happy we won, beat TCU finally, got that monkey off the back, and let's see what happens from there, right?
Right.
So now let's go ahead and take a look at the NFL. This is in relation to last week's game.
Do we got to talk about this?
Technically, yeah, we probably should. I mean, we can't keep skipping. How about this?
There was that one time we talked about them, but go ahead, Jamal. Go ahead. I mean, just go ahead.
I mean, it's still my team. So, is Seattle good or just good enough thus far, based upon what you saw last week?
Seattle does what they do every year. They get off to a slow start, but if they have us on their calendar, they're whooping our butts, okay? And I said, might I quote, that we'll mess around and lose to Seattle. That's exactly what I said. Jamal?
I can't talk to you right now.
I asked for us not to talk about this.
I can't talk to you right now. I can't. I honestly felt that they were going to figure out some way to win this game, and I'm still just trying to understand how you still managed to lose it. And I don't think that it's necessarily a player situation. I'm not going to point a finger at Zeke. I'm not going to point a finger at Dak, per se. You know where I always point the finger. I haven't been proven wrong otherwise. But I think that Seattle, this may be the game that Seattle needed to kind of springboard and get it together. That they may have found some sort of a running game. They did play up against a very tough defense in the Cowboys. I thought we did very well. Hey, we held Seattle, except for that freak touchdown, otherwise to basically 17 points on the road.
And that's a lot. That is a lot for Seattle to score in any game. They're not a high-scoring offense.
Right.
So I don't think we necessarily get to pat our backs for something that normally happens in a regular game, Jamal. And then, it just doesn't make sense.
Gotcha.
Where's our springboard? Do we have a springboard, Jamal?
Yes, the Detroit Lions.
Nice segue.
So the Lions beat the Pats. Green Bay lost, and the Vikings were stomped at home by Buffalo. What do you have to say about last week?
There's still parity in the NFL as we see, and then, you got this, even just going back to last night's game, you got the Vikings. They play hard every week, but why can't they just get a win? Why can't they win consistently? So it's a lot of things I think that are still being figured out. So I have no explanation for this. Me no explaining. I can't.
No explaining.
I can't explain.
we also saw the Vikings last night, and they looked like a team that, just a couple of plays here and there, and that game probably would have gone to overtime. They looked like they were kind of on par. They got shook early, but they settled down, and,
Well, what the Vikings actually need to do as well, they have Green Bay and they also have the Bears in their conference. If they don't get it together and stop letting games slip by, they could possibly miss the playoffs. And I think going into this season, a lot of people were picking Minnesota out of the NFC. That's all I'll say about that.
I can't agree with you more. They have the Eagles, and I need them to get their act together to take care of the Eagles next weekend. Next weekend, yes. So I was actually kind of taken aback by the Green Bay loss more than anything. I did not expect them to walk into Washington and lose. That it was a complete surprise to me. The Pats and the Lions, I mean, yes,
it's a strange, matchups.
Yeah, and these kind of things happen throughout the year, so it's fine. I don't think the Pats are going to press on, any sort of panic or anything like that. But I'm looking forward to seeing what the Lions do when we have them this coming weekend. So, yeah. Let us shuffle along. And any other thoughts about the matchup from last night?
No.
Okay. Were you at least...
I would have liked to see this matchup towards the end of the season. That's the only thing that I have to offer.
How do you feel about this being a Monday night game a Thursday night game as opposed to Monday night?
Well, what I've seen looking at the Monday night schedule, it has been better than it has been in past nights. I'm not a fan of Thursday night games. I'm not. So, if for the sake of the question, yes, it would have been better on a Monday night.
I agree with you in terms of it being a later season game. It was very entertaining for me. I like offensive fireworks, and I was very happy as an older cat to see the LA Coliseum filled to the rim for a primetime game. I quietly smiled. I don't give two, about the Rams at all, but for the sake of just the football in general in Los Angeles, I think it's important. And so it was a great sight to see. Beyond that, I just sat there and watched Jeff Goff and said, wow, wish my quarterback could do that. So let's go through and make some quick picks. And let's start off with, at least from the NFL side, Bengals at Atlanta.
I'm going to take the home team in this.
Same. Next up, Tampa at Chicago.
Ooh.
And we don't know who's starting.
We don't know who's starting for for Tampa Bay, which quarterback. So I'm going to pick the Bears at home.
I'm going to go with Tampa. I think the Bears are due for another loss. So, yeah. And another one of the early matchups at noon Central, the Lions at the Cowboys.
I'm glad this is an early game so that we can get on to some real football after this game goes off. Detroit, you never know which team is going to show up. But, Dallas was pretty consistent with what they've been showing us. I'm going to once again go against my team and pick the Detroit Lions.
I'm going to stick with my team. And, we'll see what happens with that. Buffalo at Green Bay.
Unless something fluky goes on again this week, I'm going to go ahead and pick Green Bay.
I, too, am going to stick with Green Bay. And Philadelphia travels to Tennessee.
This is not as easy as one would think. But I guess I'm going to go with Philadelphia. I guess.
I'm going to just be a contrarian. I'm going to go with the Titans. I don't have a good reason for it other than to say that I think that Philadelphia may just get caught off guard. Best I got. Houston versus the Indianapolis Colts in Indianapolis.
Who cares? Who cares? Mini Indianapolis.
I'm going to actually go with the Texans. I think that the Colts, they're just not there yet. The Miami Dolphins versus the New England Patriots.
Ooh. I'm gonna go with Foxborough. No.
Yeah,
I'm
and Foxborough.
I'm gonna say the Patriots. I don't trust Miami on the road.
I don't trust Miami on the road either. Okay, so moving along. The Jets at Jacksonville.
I wish I knew who had some points on this. I'll say the Jets.
Okay, you completely caught me off guard on that one. I'm going to go Jacksonville on that one. And so Fox thought this would be a great idea. I'm not sure why. But one of the 3 o'clock games is Cleveland at Oakland.
Only because it's too soon to move them out of the 3 o'clock spot. It's why they remain there. I'm going to go with Cleveland.
I'm going to go with Oakland for their first win. I don't know how Cleveland's going to do on the road. Another questionable 3 o'clock game is Seattle at Arizona.
Seattle. They're using their springboard.
Seattle doesn't do well on the road, so I'm going to go with Arizona. And another one, New Orleans travels to New York.
I'm going to go with the Giants because New Orleans don't play too good outside their dome. Giants will win.
Huh.
They're going to win.
Yeah, no. I'm going to go with the Saints on this one. I think it's too much firepower for the Giants. And another questionable game. The 49ers at the Chargers.
Oh, I don't even know who the San Francisco 49ers quarterback is. So I'm
right.
going to go with the Chargers.
I'm going to go with the Chargers, too. That's a very good choice. Baltimore at Pittsburgh. Good knock'em sock'em game.
I'm going to go with Pittsburgh.
I, too, am going to go with Pittsburgh. And the closeout is Kansas City at Denver on Monday night.
Denver.
Kansas City. I think their running game makes it interesting. So let's pivot over to the NCAA. We'll talk about a couple of matchups that caught our attention this coming weekend. Ohio State and Penn State. Who you got?
I am going to go with Ohio State.
I'm going to go with Penn State. I think I like Penn State.
We need to make a friendly wager on this.
Okay.
Only because you won against everyone that I pick. So on this one, we need a wager.
All right. I think we can definitely put something on there. We can discuss terms afterwards.
Food related, of course.
Food related, of course. Absolutely. No problem there. And Stanford at Notre Dame.
I'm going to pick Notre Dame.
I'm going to take Notre Dame, too. Quick shout-out to Renee Jones. There's no way we're talking about those Patriots. Also, hi to Lillian for joining us.
Hi, Lillian. Friend of the show.
Friend of the show. And personally for me, the University of Texas at Kansas State. You're all kinds of quiet.
Oh, no, we have not fared well. Where they play?
In Manhattan.
In Manhattan, Kansas. We hadn't done well there. But today, victory. All right.
All right now. Okay. All right.
I mean, if we're going to say we can beat TCU, we can beat USC, we have to beat Kansas State. We have to.
Agreed. Yeah, I'm going to have to take Texas as well.
Yeah, Texas is done. I feel it in my bones.
You feel it in your bones there?
Mm.
Okay.
We're turning over a new leaf here down in Austin at the Capitol.
Okay.
I'll stop right there.
I still need the man to be fired. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, with time.
Mm-hmm.
With time.
So, NBA, like we've talked about, is around the corner. rep your team. I know we briefly talked about the Mavericks already, but rep your team. What?
Well, my team, they made some mistakes in the past. My owner got a little pinky in the brainish. You know what I'm saying? Think that he can change up the formula. But finally, through a lot of losing, we've got some good players on the team. We've picked up some good players as well. So I'm very confident with my team. I think Dirk needs to sit down on the bench. You know what I'm saying? Come off the bench. We got Doncic. We have Jordan. A couple of years too late, but neither here nor there.
Right.
Dennis Smith Jr. and one of my favorites, Maxi Kleber. Now, I don't know where they found him, but he just works, okay? Yeah. I mean, you might not know him, but he's a pretty good pickup.
Sounds like a really solid squad. I'm the one who chose them as the. No. I'm the one who gave 8 seed to your team. So remember that. You didn't think they'd make the playoffs. I got your team making the playoffs. I'm just saying.
Okay. We'll see. So
my team has been all over ESPN and everywhere else, so I don't really need to delve that far off into it. Let me just say that I have moderate expectations for the Lakers, and I look forward to getting over seeing LeBron James in the purple and gold and doing my best not to cheer against him, as I've been doing most of his career. And I'm just looking forward to an entertaining squad. I feel like we will make the playoffs this year with LeBron, but I'm not going to sit here and talk about we're going to be kings of the West anytime soon. So we still need a couple of people, and we need some people to leave Golden State for something like that to happen. So.
Well, you never know. That's why you play every 82 games to figure it out. It's not all as we always, or has it been lately, predictable.
Absolutely, it hasn't been. So, have you watched anything interesting with this new fall season?
Oh my God! So I checked out some new shows.
Yeah.
I checked out Amsterdam, which is a doctor show, which you're not interested in. I watched Manifest on NBC, and it's pretty interesting. Even though I said I was just going to let it record the whole season and then watch it, because NBC and ABC will let you get 4 episodes into the season on something and then cancel it with millions of people watching, okay? So I'm just like, I don't care, I'm sitting here, let me check this out, and so far it's good, so I'm pretty interested about that.
Okay.
It's like some returning shows. How to Get Away with Murder was pretty interesting last night, and I know you still haven't caught up, but you're missing some real drama. I don't know what's up with you.
Why are you calling me out on the show like this? This is wrong.
That's not calling you out. The next remark, which I'm not going to say, would be calling you out. How you hadn't, watched another show from years ago.
Well, anyway, yes.
So my DVR is like really, 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 really full of good shows, and I'm very excited about this.
Excellent. My DVR is empty at the moment because I've been waiting for your recommendations. I am looking forward to getting my hands on the Mayans, and also to taking a look at a show that's on Amazon Video, Jack Ryan from the Tom Clancy novels. That looks kind of interesting.
It is.
And I feel strongly that this is the week that I start Ozarks, finally, at your strong suggestion. There you go. And looking forward to seeing how that plays out. So that's at least what my television watching looks like. So beyond that, I think it's time for happy hour. Don't you think?
Yeah! Woo-hoo!
All right, great. Well, Kay, I appreciate you as I do all the time, and great show, and looking forward to talking to you again next week.
Yes.
Thank you all for thank you all for listening in, and thank you for joining us. Remember, you can find us on Facebook as well as Twitter and under I Talk Back Sports. And please feel free to message us, and we will get back to you. Thank you again for listening, and we'll see you next week.